I never thought my quiet retirement would turn into a full-blown showdown with a nosy neighbor. But here we ream, a barn full of goats, and a HOA president who thought she could bully me off my own land. After 25 years in the Marines, dodging bullets and bad orders overseas, I finally cashed in my chips for a slice of heaven. 5 acres on the outskirts of Willow Creek Meadows, complete with a weathered old barn that had seen better days, but suited me just fine. All I wanted was to raise some dairy goats' simple joys like fresh milk at dawn and the sound of them munching hay far from the cookie-cutter lawns and petty rules of the subdivision next door, but apparently that was too much to ask when Susan Whitaker decided my setup was a threat to her perfect little empire. It started innocently enough, or so. I thought a fancy envelope slid under my gate one crisp morning, gold embossed with the Willow Creek HOA seal, complaining about unpleasant odors and visual blight from my goats, as if my barn, standing since the 40s, was suddenly an eyesore to homes built last decade. I chuckled, tossed it aside, figuring it was a mix-up since my property's grandfathered out of their jurisdiction. But then Susan showed up in person, clipboard in hand, pearls gleaming under her designer sunglasses, striding up my driveway like she owned the place. "Mr. Harlan," she said, her voice sharp as a drill sergeant's whistle, "we need to discuss how your animals are impacting our community's property values, the noise, the smell. It's unacceptable." I wiped grease from my hands I'd been fixing the tractor and met her gaze steady. "Susan, this land's been mine fair and square, predates your whole development. If you don't like the view, plant some hedges on your side." Her lips tightened, eyes narrowing behind those shades. "This isn't personal, it's about standards. Relocate those goats, or we'll have to escalate." I crossed my arms, feeling that old Marine resolve kick in. "Escalate all you want, but step off my property before I make it official." She huffed, spun on her heels, and peeled out in her shiny SUV. But I knew deep down this wasn't over. People like her don't back down, they dig in deeper, fueled by that mix of entitlement and boredom that comes from ruling over lawnmower schedules and holiday light approvals. Things heated up quick after that, like a slow-burning fuse I didn't see coming first. Kids from the neighborhood tossing junk food over the fence, thinking my goats were a petting zoo, which led to a soggy bag of chips in the pan and me posting a polite note asking folks to knock it off. Next morning, that note's replaced with a scribbled threat: "Keep your farm away from our homes, or else." I shook my head, installed some trail cams just in case, and sure enough, caught Susan at midnight sprinkling some powdery crap along the fence turned out to be cheap fertilizer meant to mask smells, but could have burned my goat's hooves if it rained. My blood boiled. This wasn't neighborly nitpicking anymore. It was sabotage, rooted in her obsession with control, probably stemming from some deeper insecurity about her fading grip on the board, or maybe just plain jealousy that I had real space while she policed fake grass. I hosed it down, backed up the footage, and marched to the county office, getting confirmation my land was exempt. But Susan wasn't deterred. She rallied her minions, sending fake violation emails citing covenants that didn't apply to me, all while her ego ballooned, thinking she could wear me down like a bad habit. The breaking point hit one sunny afternoon when I spotted movement through the barn slats there. She was Susan, decked out in khakis and a vest like some amateur inspector, sneaking inside, snapping photos of my feed bins and muttering about health hazards and code breaches. My heart pounded. This was my sanctuary, the place where I'd unwind with Buddy and Max nibbling at my boots. And here she was violating it like it was her right. I cleared my throat loud. "Susan, what the hell are you doing in my barn?" She jumped, phone nearly flying. "I'm assessing for the community mold waste. It's a public concern." I stepped closer, voice low and firm. "This is private property. You're trespassing. Get out now, or I'll call the sheriff." Her face flushed. "You can't intimidate me." I have rights to protect our values. But as she backed up, she tripped over a feed bucket, spilling grain everywhere. That's when the goats perked up, curious as ever, trotting over thinking it was snack time. Susan shrieked like a banshee, "Get them away, they're attacking!" and bolted for the ladder, scrambling up to the hayloft in a panic, legs flailing, while my goats just stared up innocently, munching the spill. I couldn't hold back the laugh that bubbled up from deep, watching this self-appointed queen perched up there, trembling, her authority crumbling like old hay. "They're goats, Susan, not wolves. You barged in here. What did you expect?" She fumbled for her phone. "I'm calling the cops. This is assault." "Fine by me." I waved at the camera I'd installed, capturing every ridiculous second. And when Deputy Ellis showed, an old fishing buddy climbed up, saw her huddled there, and barely stifled a grin before helping her down, shaking his head at the absurdity. That video, I clipped a short, silent bit, no names, just the chaos, and tossed it online, not expecting much, but it exploded, racking up views like wildfire, memes flying about HOA boss versus goat squad. Susan went nuclear after that, her pride shattered, probably humiliated in front of her board who whispered about her overreach, driven by that thirst for power that blinded her to boundaries. She hit back with bogus county complaints, zoning violations, noise citations, all fabrications to bury me in paperwork. But I'd done my homework, pulling old deeds and maps from my Marine days handling land disputes, proving my exemptions crystal clear. My lawyer buddy, Lena, laughed when I forwarded Susan's lawsuit for emotional distress and defamation, saying, "Tom, this is gold digging her own grave." We countered hard, subpoenaing her trespass logs, fake emails, the works, and in court unraveled fast. The judge, stern but fair, leafed through our stacked deeds from '72, footage of her intrusions, vet reports on my happy goats, and dismissed it all with a bang of the gavel, warning Susan she'd be lucky if I didn't sue back. She slunk out, defeated, her board forcing her resignation that night, whispers of her manipulation finally surfacing among neighbors who'd been too scared to speak up. In the end, as I sat on my porch that evening, sun dipping low, painting the fields gold while my goats grazed peacefully, buddy nudging my knee for a scratch, I felt that hard-won calm settle in. Not just victory, but a deeper shift, like the community finally seeing through the facade of control freaks like Susan. Neighbors started dropping by, kids petting the goats, even leaving thank you notes admitting they'd been misled, turning my barn into this unlikely hub of real connection, far from HOA tyranny. But here's the thing that still nags at me: is Susan just a bully? Or does the system breed them, letting petty power corrupt good intentions? Makes you wonder if these associations help or hurt more in the long run. Anyway, if you've got a story like this dealt with an overzealous neighbor, fought for your patch of dirt, or think I should have handled it different, drop it in the comments below. Let's hear your take on where the line is between community rules and personal freedom. Because honestly, sharing these keeps the conversation going, and who knows, might save someone else's sanity.